Oh, I made a mistake.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is flipping hot. Summer has arrived at the end of July. Rather late, but anyway, I'm feeling the heat, and also my computer is feeling the heat. So I thought I'd give it a little treat. So I've got it, the H150i Corsair iCue liquid cooler, in an attempt to cool this boy down. So I'm going to give it a good, honest review. I'm going to tell you why I swapped from my old liquid cooler by Fractal, the S24 Plus, and see if we can get an improvement. We should be able to get an improvement. It's a bigger radiator, it's got more fans, it looks cooler, and also it comes with an LCD screen, which means we can put GIFs, memes, all sorts of stuff on there, and also like the sensible stuff like putting a temperature gauge on your CPU, which kind of makes sense. Anyway, if you do like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel, helps me do more reviews, and all that boring stuff. But anyway, let me just get into the video.
So, unboxing time. Let me tell you, I've been really excited for this product for a long time. Having an LCD screen on your CPU cooler. I mean, I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of this before. I thought it looked really cool. But also from a practical side, I did want to go for the 360mm liquid cooler, just to try and get a little bit more heat dispersion across the case. I'm going to be using this as an exhaust, so I thought that'd be really good for it. So this is your link, this is your system hub, and this is what can connect up to 14 different devices, Corsair devices, using one cable. So let's get into the actual CPU unit. This is the cooler, the H150i. It is a beast. It's massive. It weighs a ton. It's well built. It comes with thermal paste pre-applied, but if you're like me, you like to get rid of that. This is the USB splitter. This was the main thing that I had issues with in this entire build, which I'll get into later on in the video. So it comes with multiple brackets. This is the Intel 1700, and then you get various ones. This is the AMD one. These two parts, they split in the center, so it's quite easy to add to your actual unit before putting it on your motherboard. This was a nice little treat. This was a miscellaneous bag of screws, and if you're like me and you always run out of like standoffs and stuff for your motherboard, that was really useful. This is the iCue link cable, so you get two short ones like that, and you get, and I believe this is a new change, you get one 600mm straight slim connector basically. Because if you've only got those two small ones, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare trying to find room in your case. Get USB to micro USB for connecting to the motherboard. And you also get, this is a PCIe 6, which powers the link unit. And then look at this thing. It is huge. But do you know what? Compared to normal CPU coolers and the radiators, it's so refreshing to see one that's built without an extra wire. It's all inbuilt in that cable, the braided cable, so you don't have to worry about, you know, having that spare wire floating around your motherboard. So it's really clean. The hub, just where my finger is there, it's where all the fans get connected to, and also the USB which powers the lights on it. So overall, this thing weighs quite a lot, but it is such good quality. The braided cables and the connectors there are really good. Really well put together. Feels sturdy. Just an altogether solid product by Corsair. And obviously if you're a fan of Corsair and you've used them in the past, you'll know that the stuff always lasts. It's always well built. And this is no different. So just looking then at the braided cables again and the connections to the CPU cooler. As you can see, it's got a really nice metal socket that attaches to it that gives you quite a bit of movement. You know, this is really handy when navigating and moving around your case. I found that really helpful. So let's get into how I fit this into my PC case. So first things first, let's turn the old PC off. Start taking out that old Fractal S24 Plus. It's been a loyal servant to me for the last 2 years. Kept PC temperatures cool. I'd say no complaints, just time for a change. So we're just going to unplug this now. Start taking off the old CPU mounting brackets. And then just using the Arctic Clean thermal material remover first, just to loosen any of that thermal compound. And then just coming back at it with the thermal surface purifier, which just prepares the surface for the reapplication of thermal paste. So quite quickly discovered into this build that actually the vertical mounted GPU alongside the massive CPU cooler probably wasn't going to work, unfortunately. So I had to take the GPU out and flipped it to be horizontal, which isn't a massive issue. So just going to go ahead here and clean off the pre-applied thermal paste. This isn't a necessary. It's just something that I like to do. I like to know that I've put the paste on the way that I like it for my CPU, which is the Ryzen 9 350X, which has a specific X pattern needed to keep it cool because it does get quite hot along with any other Ryzen 9 CPUs. The benefit to this CPU cooler is you can take off the LCD screen just for fitting. It just pops off. So you've got a little bit more space to work with, which was really nice. Horizontal GPU now, just plugging that in and then getting ready to turn this all on. Or at least that was the plan. Remember earlier in the video I mentioned the hub that you get and it needing power by the PCIe 6 cable. Now I checked my modular power source, didn't have one. Absolute nightmare, and a potential blocker for this project on the day. Of course I could go to Amazon and order a new one, but I phoned local, managed to find a very good bunch of chaps at Direct Computers who had a spare, managed to pick it up on the same day to allow me to carry on with this project. They also let me pick it up for free, which I thought was really good of them. This isn't an ad, just highly recommend. So now I'm back, finally got the wire that I need, connector, it's all plugged in, and as you can see it's booting up just fine. So just doing a few tests, making sure everything's working as it should be. Just holding the pump to see if I can feel the vibrations of the water passing through. But yeah, all was good there. Did notice an issue, this is probably the first issue that I noticed when coming into iCue. We were getting this spike in temperature, and also a drop off in the actual devices. So you'll see when I go in here, cooling is disappearing and then reappearing. So it turns out the USB splitter that we'd used was disconnecting and reconnecting to the system, and you could hear the noise over and over again. You could also see on the outside of the case, when you're looking in, the devices turning themselves off or lowering power and connecting again. Had a look online, found that it's quite a common issue with that splitter in particular, and there are 2 recommendations for fixing this, and that is to order more Corsair stuff which I did in the end in the form of a Corsair USB splitter. Also made some other upgrades as well, just to future-proof. So we've gone for the RM1000X PSU and 128 gigs of DDR4 RAM. So taking out the splitter then and fitting this new external unit from Corsair was relatively easy, and it fixed the problem straight away. So let's look at the temperatures then between the old and the new liquid cooler. This is the S24 Plus, and it's sitting idle around 56.5 degrees. I'm going to put it through a CPU only stress test just to get a benchmark of its average temperatures. So 59.6, that's an extreme test. I'm going to run the exact same tests for the new Corsair H150i. Okay, so that's running a little bit cooler at 54.8 degrees. And then let's run it through the CPU stress test. So a little bit higher there, we've got 64.4 on that one. So let's do a comparison then between both configurations. For the S24, we had a CPU priority layout. So we have the exhausts on the side and the intake on the top. And for the Corsair one, we're going for that GPU priority, the more standard layout that you'd expect to find. So obviously there's going to be a bit of trade-off, focusing on GPU cooling, and obviously it depends on what you're doing with your computer. Are you gaming? Are you doing 3D modeling? As you can see with the left configuration, and you can view the video above, it gets very, very dusty. So overall then, what do I think of the H150i? Well, for the price, I think the quality and everything that's included is first class. Everything, obviously, apart from the USB splitter. But, you know, the quality of the materials used, how everything's put together, and just the aesthetics of this thing is definitely worth the price point. Did mistakes happen along the way in this build journey? Absolutely yes. But we're learning, it's all part of being a PC hobbyist. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos. And yeah, thank you for joining me along this PC building journey.